Hi everyone, Marie Gervais here with Shift, and I wanted to talk to you today about a burning question that many people have, and that question is, why don't employers answer my job application? And it's not just one person saying this, it's hundreds of thousands of people saying this, and they're really frustrated with the fact that they are sending out all these resumes and they're applying online and they're not getting any answers back, like not even one. It's so discouraging. Totally feel your pain. And I feel it even more now because all last week I was talking to various different job search groups, and it was pretty demoralizing to see how sad they were about the whole situation. They felt better after I talked to them because they're starting to use some more tips. But I thought, you know what, people need a lot more help than what I just gave in that little short period. So I'm going to give a really targeted answer to that question, why people are not answering your job applications. And then I'm going to give you an alternative to what you can do that's going to give you way better results so that you're not frustrated and you can move away from this frustration and get closer to getting a job interview and from there to get hired. Okay, so first off, why are people not answering you? Well, first let's look at what you could be doing just to make sure you've, as they say, crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. So if you've taken care of everything you need to take care of, then we can look at what they are doing that is not going to work for you, and then what we can get around it. So what you need to take care of is, first off, you have to make sure that you have a resume that doesn't have mistakes in it. So you want to make sure that it's been proofread and it's been looked over, it doesn't have grammar, spelling, mistakes, and it's got a tone to it, it's specific to the job. If you have not created your resume specific to the job, so you save a general resume format, on your computer, and then you create a resume that is specific to each job. And so there's that. And it can also be that you didn't use any keywords. People talk about that all the time now. Keywords applies in two ways. It applies to robots who might be searching thousands of resumes to make sure the ones that have the most keywords in them are the ones that go to a real person. And the keywords are all the important words in the job announcement. So there's looking for all of those and putting them in several times into whatever you're submitting in places that make sense. Of course, it can't just be random keywords. And then also, if it's real people looking at the resumes, they want to make sure you are applying specifically to that job. So if you have not referenced the job application in detail, then they will not pay attention to you. So those are things that you can control. Other things that could be that maybe the employer answered you and went into your spam box. You should check your junk mail box every once in a while, make sure that there isn't something in there from an employer. So there's that. Or they tried to phone you and they couldn't get you. And this happens to me all the time, and it is way frustrating because so many people do not answer the phone, or they don't have voicemail, or their voicemail is full, or they have a really bad voicemail message that is not professional. It's either angry or silly or inappropriate. Or they say on their voicemail, "I'm sorry, I never answer my phone." You know what? Those are all things that are not going to get you the job. So if an employer is trying to get a hold of you, don't make it hard. Make it easy for them. And one way to do that is to set up your voicemail and your phone so that you can answer professionally all the time. So you answer with your name and say who you are, and then you just that's all you have to do. You just don't have to do anything crazy. And don't be bored or mad when you answer the phone. I can't tell you how many times I phone somebody, like who wants to talk to someone who answers the phone that way? You want to make a good impression. You have about 3 seconds, so don't mess it up by having a bad phone issue. Another reason people may not contact you is because you do not have a LinkedIn profile, or you don't have a professional Facebook profile or Twitter profile. So if they look for you online and they do not find you, that's always a bad sign if they don't find you online. If they don't find you, or if they find you with no photo or no portrait or nothing done, all bad. Or if they find you and it's looking pretty questionable what you're doing, also not good. Go into your Facebook, go into your Twitter, set some things as private, some things as public, and that way, whatever the employer sees is going to be what you want them to see, the good stuff. Well, hopefully it's all good stuff because you want to be an integrated good person anyway, so that's what you should be doing. But in case you have a moment, well, there are ways to make sure that not everybody sees it. So make sure that you are doing that. That's very important. So Here's the reality. Employers may see your resume, but they don't look at it because they go to LinkedIn and see if you're there. They look for you online, and if you look like you could be a problem, they don't even go there, right? So make sure you have an online presence that looks professional. If you Google your name and you find yourself and it looks good, employers are going to look at it, and it's going to look good to them too. So you have control over that. So make sure you take care of those things. So the phone, the online presence, the resume with no mistakes in it, and there are gazillion places that will do that for you for free. So you don't have to go pay a huge amount of money, if any money. Most immigrant serving and job search places and recruiting agencies will help you with proofreading your stuff and making sure that it is error-free. So you don't have to pay for that. And why would you want to? Because you're looking for work, because you need money, right? Okay, so take advantage of whatever free stuff is there. I would not suggest using a resume template, but I would suggest doing something specific with your resume, which I'm going to talk to you about later. Okay, so that's all the stuff you have control over. Now, stuff you do not have control over is this. They may have already picked someone for the post, but they are legally required to post it. Not fun, but that happens. Or it could be they forgot to close the job application after the job was filled. Also not pretty, but that does happen too. Could be also that they can't respond back to you because it requires a team effort to give any feedback, or they have a policy of no feedback, or because there could be legal implications involved and they don't want to be in that situation. Or finally, they may look at your resume and they may go, this person isn't like me, so I'm not going to pick them. Subjective, but that could be the issue, right? Or they could look at it and they go, this person's something weird about this person's personality, and I don't want to get into that, so I'm not going to give them any feedback. So either way, it doesn't help you one bit, right? So there are lots of reasons why employers will not respond to you. And it seems to be the norm now. So let's just not go there. Let's do something different that's going to work, shall we? All right, I'm going to give you some tips on what to do that works much better. First thing you want to do is use those job ads to get inside to find out what the company is where you might like to work. So one thing that you can do is you go to those job ads, like you go to the job boards like Indeed, Simply Hired, Iluta, Monster, and whatever job boards you're looking at. Type your job description title in that you're looking for, and then see what companies come up, and then look at those companies, and then you need to put them on a list. So you create a list, and on that list, you are going to find some real people that work at that company. If you like the company, it seems like it's going to be a good fit for you. If you don't like it, you know what? Don't apply there, because you won't like it. They won't like it. They won't hire you anyway. You're wasting your time. So if it looks like it's going to be a good fit and you'd like to work there, then you need to find some real people. Now, here's a sneaky way to do it. There's a website called hunter.io, hunter.io. And if you install it in your Chrome browser, which is very simple, explains to you on the web how to do it. So you just click on hunter.io and it'll tell you what to do. Then every website you go to, you hover over it and click the Hunter button, and then Hunter will come up with all the emails that they can find with real people that work there. So then you can get emails of real people, and then you can find their names, and those names you can look up, and the looking up, you look up on LinkedIn, you look on Twitter, you look on Facebook, you look on the company website and see if you can find a phone number. So you want email, name, and a phone number of several people that work at that company. Now, here's who you want to avoid: HR. Sorry to say that to HR people, but most HR are gatekeepers looking to say no, not people who are looking to enable your hiring. So you need to enable your hiring because that's your job. So what you want to do is look for people who have some decision-making power, or just people who work at the company. And then you want to try and contact them. You can contact them through LinkedIn. You can contact them by email. You can call the company by phone and ask some questions of the receptionist. I have done this lots of times. And I call the receptionist and I say, I'm doing a little research on, jobs in good companies to work for. And I'm just wondering, do you like your job? Do you enjoy working there? And you get a kind of a, conversation going. Do you have a few minutes? Do you mind spending 2 minutes with me? So you go do that kind of thing with the receptionist. And then you say, is there somebody you would recommend I speak to in the company? And can you give me their direct line phone number or email, right? And so they may or may not give it to you, but they may give you some other thing that's useful information. So you're going to get stuff you need from that. You put that into your list. You're only going to target maybe 10 companies, and you do maybe 2 a week. So this is the way it works. You're not going to do 100 useless online applications. You are going to look for companies that you can actually get into, that you want to work for, whether or not they are hiring. Lots of times people hire when they have no job postings. So you want to go get to that company, talk to some real people. And if you've got some connections, here's the next reason why it's important to use those connections. So once you have submitted your job application, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more, then you want to go back to those people and ask them to check on your status and see how you're doing. So then they're going to go back to HR, recruiting, or whoever, and they're going to go, oh, I have this colleague who applied, and I'm just wondering, have you gotten to their application yet? And that just pushes that application way up to the top, because they're going to, oh, someone from the company recommended them. And a lot of companies even pay people to do referrals. So they're interested in people that refer from inside the company. That's why you need to connect with them. Okay, so now you're doing all this connecting thing and getting companies you want to work for, and you're getting that. Now, what's the next step? The next step is you want to create a human-voiced resume. Now, there's a great website. It's called humanworkplace.com. Who knew? Humanworkplace.com. And on that website, they have this great PDF that explains to you how to get started with this process. And they offer a lot of services and blogs and stuff. And you can get some really good job finding information that works from them. So I would go there. And so they say that you should, in the beginning of your resume, you should answer 3 questions in like a couple of sentences. And those questions are what you do or what you did as a job, how you did it, and why it matters to you, okay? And if you put that at the top of your resume, it's really critical, because it's a human being reaching out, right? So I'm going to read you some examples of what a human-based opening to a resume looks like. So this idea of job objective and then find job, get rid of that. That's not going to work. Okay, you don't want that job objective thing. You want to put in some human stuff that's going to attract the employer to want to interview you. So here's some examples. This is directly from their PDF, humanworkplace.com, right? So they're a great resource. I recommend them. And here are 3 job beginnings of resumes. And they say, this is for an entrepreneurial human resources manager. That's the post that they're looking for. I was an office manager who gradually morphed into an HR person in my last job. Okay, so you're showing you've got the operational understanding and you moved your way up. Good, right? I love recruiting, training, and communicating with employees about pay, benefits, and anything else that's on their mind. So you got a good communicator here. Instead of saying, I am a good communicator, you're showing that you're a good communicator because of what you like to talk about with people. My passion is working among smart people towards an exciting goal. That's good. So, it's sounding excellent, showing why it matters to you. And keeping my employer in compliance with HR regulations. That's a pain point for employers. So you want to make sure that you put that in there, and making sure everyone's having fun. I mean, I like this. I would love to hire somebody who's like this, someone who cares about customer communication and employee communication, who wants to make sure they follow the rules, and who's having fun. Why wouldn't I want to hire someone like that? So this is a great thing to put on top of your resume. Now, here's another one. This one is a customer service problem solver. I'm a customer service agent with experience solving tricky client problems for individual and business accounts. All good. This tells me everything I need to know. So that makes me want to read further too, right? I'm ready to move on from my telephone company position and help a consumer products firm set up and grow its customer service operation and keep its customers happy. Oh, that's great. Now that sounds like somebody I'd want to hire too, right? It sounds like a human being who can do human things that are interesting. Here's one more. Technical product manager. I started my career as a design engineer and have been managing successful product launches since 2006. Of my 26 new product launches, all have been released on time and under budget. This is a rock star who's going to save my company money. Wouldn't I want that? What a great project manager. Ooh, good. My 6 new products launched in 2014 generated over $14 million in revenues. I'm looking for a technology firm whose ability to launch projects successfully is key to its success. Now, these are all really great. And if you want to know how to do this for the job you're looking for, right? These are just the things they put out there. I suggest going to the humanworkplace.com and downloading their PDF. And then they have a worksheet. And so you can practice doing this yourself, right? And then once you've put that into your resume, then you structure the resume the way they suggested, which is a way that shows that you have proof of whatever you did in your last job, that you have skills. Then you go to the next part. Okay, so far on your success story for getting a job, number one was, first thing was, make sure that you have a targeted employer list, right? That's number one. Number two is going to be that you want to create a human voiced resume that I just talked about. And now we're on number three, which is to create a pain cover letter. Pain, I did say pain. And so what I mean by that is that you want to solve the employer's pain. You're not going to talk about your pain of not having a job, because we all know you're in pain with that. So it's about what you can solve. What problems can you solve for the employer? The reason that's important is because that's the only reason anybody hires anyone. They want to know if you can solve a problem for them. If you can't solve a problem, why would they give you money? They will give you money to solve their problems. And so you want to know what their problems are by researching on the web, connecting with people who work there, finding out what the problems are, and then you can speak directly to it in your pain letter. Now, there are lots of ways that you can use this. Now you've got your pain letter, and it's specific to a company, and your resume, specific to a company. So you've got those two things. You've got your list. You've got your company. Now, you could mail it. Who does that? Nobody. You are going to be right at the top of the pile if you mail it. Yeah. So you could mail it, but you want to make sure it's going to the right person. So you might need to call the company first, which is the second thing. You might want to call and then see if you can hand deliver it. And I wouldn't even hand deliver it. I would talk to somebody. After you've talked to somebody, then give them the resume, because then they will have already connected with you. So see if you can find someone to talk to, explain to them, and then you give them the resume. So, and see if you can talk to a decision maker, and then give them the resume. So the more you can get to a real person, better. So you could mail it, you can go talk to somebody, and then you give them the resume, or you can also phone them and say you will follow it up with the resume and the cover letter, or you can just email it to them, which will have the least amount of success. So the most amount of success is when you're trying to get to a real person. And the reason for that is nobody does that. Everybody's scared to death. They don't have like phone messages. They don't talk to anybody. They're all like people scared. And if you are not one of those people, you are likely to get an interview and likely to get hired. And even if you are people scared, but you get past your fear to do this, you are likely to be at the top of the list. I can guarantee you that. So once you've done all of that, then you need to follow up with your connection. So follow up with the connection and say, hey, what's the status of my application? Can you find out anything you can do? I use this anything you can do to find out much appreciated thing a lot. And I'm a business owner. I call and I say, anything you can do about this? Have you been able to find out if there's a solution to that? I really appreciate your help. And it is very helpful, because then that person goes and taps the shoulder of somebody who hasn't been doing it, or who was paying attention to someone else's instead of your resume. And they go, all right, you should look at so-and-so's. They're really good. And it helps you get a leg up. Between 30 and 50% more likelihood of you getting an interview and getting hired. Okay. So I think I've been through everything. First part was why they're not hiring. There's stuff you have control over, which I explained. There's stuff you don't have control over, which I also explained. That is discouraging, so don't go there. Do something better. Solution, targeted list with connections. Use hunter.io, and then create a human voiced resume, and then create a pain letter that helps solve the pain for the employer, and then find a way to connect personally, and then follow up. So these are all things that are much more likely to help you get work. And I wish you great success. So now you know what to do. I mean, I just spelled it all out for you. If you're having any problems or obstacles, you can always email me, marie@shiftworkplace.com, and I can help you with it. I may not get back to you right away, but I will get back to you. Okay. And you can do that. And another thing you can do is to go onto our Canadian Workplace Facebook group and check out what we've got, because there's good stuff on there. You can go to our Canadian Workplace YouTube channel and check out the YouTube. So I suggest you do both of those things, because that's going to give you more job resources and great ideas. So go there, use it, enjoy, and I'll talk to you again next week. This is Marie Gervais with Shift Workplace signing off. Bye.